and every child in this room, in this environment, in this world, has the potential to accomplish anything. And one of the biggest limitations we all have is what people put on us. We have a lot of limitations that society puts on us because they've never had an interaction with us and they automatically assume we can't do things. And that is far from the truth. So I'm really excited to be here, and we have 10 great speeches tonight. So I want to make sure we get through all of them effectively. And you can definitely meet up with people afterwards and go ask them questions. This is an open forum, a conversation that shouldn't end here. It should be a way for people to continue to interact and share their stories. If something resonates with you, why not go up and tell someone that that story had an impact on you? And continue to share stories throughout the week, because you'll learn so much. And this is an environment, especially where we all have a lot more in common than different. So I'm going to start off by introducing someone who's very important to me. He's my father, and he is going to talk about what it was like and the beauty of raising a child with dwarfism. Jack Curran.
Thank you, Becky. Just as a matter of preface, the background or the way in which I approached this was with regard to my own situation, which was being an average, although I'm not really average, average height person who had never even met a little person before, who all of a sudden found himself as the parented one. So with that said, many of you know me as Becky's dad, and I'm very proud of being known for that. But most don't know that I also hold a master's degree in child and family therapy. For the last 35 plus years, I've been a consultant to the juvenile and probate courts of Massachusetts in parenting and child custody. I've consulted the courts in over 1,200 care and custody cases. I titled this speech, Parenting a Little Person, but the reality is that parenting a little person is not all that different as you might think from parenting any child. After having an average child, and I mean that by height only, as Courtney, our other daughter, is far from average in any other way, God blessed us and trusted us with a little person. For those average parents who are here, I know what a shock it is when you don't have what society considers the perfect child. I went through that. I did all the reading I could about dwarfism. Once I realized that my new daughter was capable of having a full and rewarding life, I was okay with it, and I buckled up for the ride. There's a wonderful poem I came across years ago that I'd love to share because I think it summarizes what it's like to go through this. It's called Welcome to Holland. It was written by Emily Pearl Kingsley, and she wrote, I am often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who have not shared that unique experience, to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. It's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks, make your wonderful plans, the Colosseum, Michelangelo, David, the gondolas in Venice. You may learn some handy phrases in Italian. It's all very exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The stewardess comes in and says, welcome to Holland. Holland, you say? What do you mean Holland? I signed up for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy, and all my life I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland, and there you must stay. The important thing is that they haven't taken you to some horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence, famine, and disease. It's just a different place. So you must go out, buy a new guidebook, you must learn a whole new language, and you will meet a whole new group of people you would never have met. It's just a different place. It's a slower pace than Italy, less flashy than Italy, but after you've been there for a while, you can catch your breath. You look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, Holland has tulips, Holland even has Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. And for the rest of your life, you will say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned. The pain of that will never ever go away because the loss of that dream is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, very lovely things about Holland. So as the parent of a little person and a psychologist who evaluated parenting for over 35 years, I have a few pieces of advice I would give, and this really applies to all children, not just those who are different. Once I came to terms with the fact that my new daughter was a little person, my wife Linda, who holds a master's degree in special education, and to whom I've been married for 38 years as of yesterday, we mutually decided that we needed to give Becky a good self-image, a sense of humor, and a sense of independence. Well, if you know Becky, I think you might agree. We accomplished those goals. So I'd like to take each one separately. First, a self-image. With regards to self-image, I would like to suggest that self-image is actually not as important as a realistic sense of self. Building a realistic sense of self is not accomplished by praising our children for everything they do. As an example, when Becky wanted to be part of a swim team at a club near us, we supported her doing that. She finished every race about 2 to 3 minutes after the second to last swimmer. I never told her she was a good swimmer, which she was not, but rather I praised her for how hard she worked in practice and in competition. She once got an award on the swim team for working the hardest at swim practices. She would continue swimming long after the coach blew the whistle. He had no idea she couldn't hear the whistle. And as she and many other little people are hard of hearing. Now, sense of humor. As we're all aware, we live in a crazy world. We need to see humor in life. As a little person, you and your littles deal with a lot of ignorance. I will always remember the times at the malls when the average-height parents would loudly proclaim to their children, "Look at the midget." Luckily, Becky was either hard of hearing or pretended to be. I decided early in Becky's life that a sense of humor would serve her well, and she has an amazing sense of humor. She's done stand-up comedy in Boston, New York City, and Nairobi, Kenya. She often shares a family joke when she speaks, that I wanted 2 children, and Linda, my wife, wanted 1, so we settled on 1.5. When Becky was about 15, she said she wanted to get a job. She asked me what she might do. I suggested she could be a short order cook, a shortstop for a baseball team, or write short stories. Friends of mine thought I was being mean, but it was all out of love and trying to prepare her for a cruel world. Now when people make any comments about her stature and her presence, she laughs and says, or at least thinks, "Bring it on, you don't know my dad." As a big guy, I've often done charity events, dressing up and pretending to be Santa Claus. I even have my own suit. So one Christmas, Becky and I went out to a couple of local bars, with me pretending to be Santa and her pretending to be an elf. I'd like to show you that picture. The point here is finding humor in your situation and bringing joy to others in a positive way is priceless. And finally, I wrap it up with the importance of a sense of independence. It's so tempting as parents of a little person or any child to be overprotective. Although it's difficult, we as parents need to encourage our children to take risks and to fly away from our nests. Becky graduated from Providence College in 2006, and at the age of 21 told us she wanted to move to LA, where she might have a chance to influence the way Hollywood portrayed little people. Her belief was that if the media changed the way little people and others with disabilities were portrayed in the media, the perceptions of the general public will change. No dad wants his child to move away, but I realized that day that Linda and I had accomplished our goal of giving Becky and Courtney senses of humor, good senses of self, and clearly senses of independence. And I would encourage you all to do the same. Thank you.